Keanu Reeves steps into an upscale restaurant nestled in the heart of the city, dressed in simple, slightly wrinkled clothes, as if he'd just come from an ordinary day. He selects a quiet table, attempting to remain unnoticed, while the shimmer of crystal chandeliers casts a warm glow around him. But before he even has the chance to place his order, a waitress strides over, her expression laced with disdain, her posture dripping with arrogance. "Are you certain you can afford to be here?" She scoffs, her tone sharp with irony, loud enough for other guests to overhear. What unfolds next not only leaves every person in the restaurant speechless, but also unveils a truth that shifts everything. Before diving further into this story, let us know where you're watching from. And if you enjoy stories like this, make sure to subscribe because tomorrow at 12:30 p.m., we've got another special one just for you. Lumiere Restaurant stood as a beacon of sophistication in Beverly Hills, positioned along one of the most prestigious avenues in the city. Its expansive windows overlooked streets bathed in the glow of luxury neon signs, where high-end sports cars cruised slowly. Inside, every meticulous detail was designed to impress. Lumiere wasn't merely a restaurant, it was a destination for those who sought to be seen and admired. Among the staff, Ashley was one of the most seasoned waitresses. She carried herself with confidence, her practiced smile always in place. Her perfectly styled bun and flawlessly pressed uniform reinforced her image of control and efficiency. To her, working at Lumiere wasn't just a job, it was a privilege. And she never missed an opportunity to boast about it. However, Ashley had another side, one tainted by excessive pride that often veered into arrogance. She possessed a distinct ability to judge guests at first glance, mentally ranking them based on their attire, demeanor, and overall appearance. "Some people simply don't belong here," she often thought to herself. Then, the restaurant's glass door swung open, and in walked a man. His outfit, faded jeans, a plain shirt, and a jacket that exuded comfort but lacked any trace of luxury branding, was understated. His presence was quiet, almost unnoticeable, as he strolled toward the reception desk. Keanu Reeves was never one to flaunt his wealth. Despite being one of Hollywood's most recognizable stars, his modest nature starkly contrasted with the extravagant dazzle of Beverly Hills. And tonight, he looked like just another ordinary customer. Ashley, stationed at the reception desk discussing a VIP reservation, caught sight of Keanu mid-conversation. Her words trailed off, her eyes narrowing as she assessed him with thinly veiled disdain. He looked nothing like the typical clientele Lumiere welcomed. Without making any effort to hide her reaction, she tilted her head, giving him a slow, scrutinizing once-over, her gaze lingering on his scuffed boots. "Good evening," she greeted him, her tone dry, forcing a fleeting smile that vanished almost instantly. "How can I help you?" "I'd like a table, please," Keanu responded, his voice calm and polite. Ashley arched an eyebrow, as if she had just heard something ridiculous. Her expression seemed to say, "How dare he?" Folding her arms, she let the fake smile drop entirely. "Are you sure you're in the right place?" she asked, her voice laced with sarcasm. "This is a very exclusive restaurant." Still unfazed, Keanu kept his composure, his pleasant demeanor unwavering. "Yes, this is exactly where I'd like to dine," he replied evenly. Ashley let out a short, incredulous laugh, shaking her head. "All right," she said, her tone dripping with mockery. "Just a moment. I need to check something." Without another word, she spun on her heel and strode toward the reception office. Sitting down at the computer, she typed his name with exaggerated flair. When no reservation appeared in the system, she rolled her eyes and huffed in frustration. Returning to the dining area, she wore an expression of barely concealed irritation. "Well, just as I thought," she said, her voice thick with condescension. "You don't have a reservation. We do have a few tables available, but just so you're aware, this isn't the kind of place for casual dining." Still, Keanu remained unbothered. His calmness only seemed to annoy her further. "I'd still like to have dinner here," he responded, his tone unchanged. Ashley let out an exaggerated sigh before grabbing a menu and flipping it open with a dramatic motion. All right then, she said, her voice heavy with reluctance. But I'll need to seat you in an appropriate area. Follow me. Without so much as glancing back, she led him briskly through the lavish dining hall. Instead of offering him a table in the center, where golden chandeliers cast an elegant glow, she directed him to the most secluded and dimly lit corner of the restaurant. The table sat near the kitchen, where the clatter of dishes and the hushed voices of staff created an atmosphere entirely disconnected from the rest of the dining room. Here you go, she said, dropping the menu onto the table with a careless thud. I think you'll find this spot comfortable. It's more private. Keanu glanced at the table, then at Ashley, his slight smile unwavering. Thank you, he said, his voice calm. Ashley narrowed her eyes, trying to discern whether he was being sarcastic or just oblivious. You're welcome, she replied, her voice still dripping with insincerity. Just so you know, we typically reserve this table for special cases. But since we have no other bookings tonight, I suppose you can have it. Turning sharply, she walked away before he could respond. From a distance, a few guests had begun to notice her behavior. An elderly man, seated at a nearby table, adjusted his glasses, watching the interaction closely. His eyes flickered with disapproval. Ashley, meanwhile, felt no remorse. If anything, she felt amused. Let's see how long he lasts here, she thought smugly. But little did she know, this wasn't a night she would forget anytime soon.